A little more conversation with TalkingElvis.co.uk.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of Talking Elvis. We've got to get a good name for this. We haven't thought of one yet. We'll have to sort that in a minute. I'm Vince Wright, and who's with me?
I'm Ian Gray.
The bloke from the radio again. Well, what have we got? Number 5. Thank you very much. We've started to get a little bit of, what do we say? What do we call it? Input.
Oh, yeah. Input's good, yes.
Input is good. So before we talk about this week's topic, I want to thank you all for listening. I want to thank Gary Brown for telling me about the magazines he was reading this week. So I think we need a review on the different Elvis fan mags. So I think he's inspired me for that one. Brian, if you're listening from Alabama, yeah, we've mentioned you again. So you got to mention last week without me even realising. So that was good.
Okay, Brian, stop burning stuff now. We know you're in Alabama.
Oops. Sorry about the iTunes problem. I must have had a bit of a moment, but we got there in the end. So we are up and running on iTunes and Apple Whatsits now. Todd, not now, Todd. Right? Todd from the fan club.
Yeah, okay.
You know Todd, yeah. He's been in touch on Facebook about the 1970 convention that's in the film. That's the way it is that we're going to talk about in a minute. And
on the screen, didn't we? So yeah.
Yeah. So he's doing a thing with Tony Prince. So anybody out there in Radio Land or Podcast Land, whatever we call it yourselves now, if you were there, get in touch with Todd at the fan club because he's trying to get hold of people who were actually in that little bit.
Wow.
We'll be talking more about that show a little bit later today. What else has happened in the Elvis world? Anything in your world this week?
Well, I get these updates from Graceland.com, and some of it's quite good because they're having a sale in the shop and new things you can go and see in the exhibitions and stuff like this. But they're also gearing up for various weeks and weekends, especially the August week, celebrating the life of Elvis. You know, around about August 16th, all that sort of thing going on.
Very delicately put. Well done.
but what gets me is that you go all the way if you're going from anywhere else in the world which is not America, you go from all this way to go Graceland, get the life of Elvis. So they put on for entertainment tribute artists, and not just one, not just two, not just about 25 of them. Come on.
Yes.
Now, tribute artists have their place, right? We know a few, don't we? Yeah, come on, we know a few, and we know people who like to go and see them. No problem with that. But at the home of Elvis, don't get it.
Yeah.
Don't get it.
Well, it's how they put the week in Elvis Week, WEAK, right? Yes.
Well, that's very good. I'll see.
Yes. Yeah. So we call that Elvis Week. Yeah.
It's a shame, really, isn't it? Because they're probably just better off getting somebody famous who's going to sing a few Elvis songs. I don't know, like it's not going to happen, but like Bruce Springsteen, like Billy Joel. It's not. I know that's not going to happen because it's just not. But to have what they're probably very well known in the Elvis tribute artist world, but to have sort of relative unknowns doing that, and they seem to be taking Graceland itself, the EPE, seem to be taking it so seriously. It's almost like this is the way we're going to do things for the next 50 years. And
they're never going to run out, are they?
No, they're not. No, sadly,
Yeah.
They'd be better off in at the Graceland Crossing or wherever they do these shows. They'd be better off putting movies on. That's the way it is.
Well, yes.
Or on tour or whatever.
But Johnny in a jumpsuit will play in the Red Lion for Tuppence Halfpenny.
Right.
Well,
there you go. But so I'm a little bit miffed at that, but it is what it is, So
it is, and it makes you wonder 50 years down the line from now. That's all there'll be, isn't it? Oh, well.
Yeah, sadly.
Oh dear. Oh, doom and gloom.
And you'll be maybe sort of dribbling around in our wheelchairs and being pushed by
But that's the difference of and to quote that's the way it is to be a bona fide fan, right? To be a bona fide fan, is it going to watch an ETA Or, this week, I've had my replacement CD for the Elvis's back box set. So I'm a happy bunny. I've had all the rumours about Record Store Day. So as soon as we've got anything confirmed, we'll talk about that. And I got me Man and Me Music mag. So I'm quite happy to sit up the corner reading that for a bit. So all in all, quite a good little week.
Jolly well done. And I've had my replacement Memphis Recording Service Elvis in the 60s to 62 sessions.
Oh, your invisible set. Yes.
Yeah. I had a. Not only did I have a set that was printed upside down, I thought, well, this is good, but they also did not have any CDs on it. So, big thank you to Sabine at the Memphis Mansion in Randers in Denmark, who sent me a replacement. And also to Henrik Knudsen as well, who instigated that. So well done them. They've sent me a replacement nice and quick, and I'm very, very happy with it. I'm halfway through listening to that.
I was going to say, you have actually played it. It isn't the Wurzels live or something, is it? No.
I've actually been playing it, and it's splendid stuff. Absolutely loving it.
Cracking set, very good. And now a word from our sponsor.
For all your Hawaiian holiday needs, come to Gates of Hawaii. Not part of the Great Southern Hawaiian Fruit Company.
Well, you heard it here, folks. You heard it here first.
Hi, guys. This is Jamie Kay from the Jungle Room Podcast, and you're listening to Vince Wright and Ian Gray on the Talking Elvis Podcast.
So, shall we move on to this week's topic that we promised you?
Indeed.
Elvis, that's the way it is.
Yes, it's back in the cinemas, isn't it?
Back in the cinemas, back talked about. Books and FTD book on the way. There's all sorts of goings on. So what we decided to do this week, it was time to re-watch them. We re-watched them sober. So
Yes.
So that was good. There was a very nice Irish whiskey I had while I was doing it, but that's another story. So I think what I'd like to do is to get underway on that. So we'll see what we know and what we don't know. So I started the week off being a bit of an anorak, as we said, a bona fide fan. I got on to Trafalgar Releases, who's the distributor for this version. And being a bit of an anorak, I said, tell me what you can. So they said, talk to Todd. Right.
Is that what they said? Just like, go away, young chap.
Yeah, and I said, well, no, I want a bit more of. I know the Elvis stuff. I don't need the backing up of the story that Todd will tell us. So I sort of found out, well, what was it all going to be? What format are we in here? So it isn't a 35mm print. It is digital. So I think this is going to be amazing because this is what they all use at the cinemas now. What do they call it? It's what's the word? Digital version of the 35mm print on DCP digital drives. So it's big and posh hard drive. It's not just a memory stick that Dave's got in his pocket. It's going to be fantastic. So the quality is going to be even better because you think how good the cinemas have bettered.
So is somebody streaming it off a laptop in the projection booth then? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, that's it. The engineers have improved. The sound's improved. The projectionists have improved.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that'd be great. So it'd be like watching a big screen Blu-ray, should we say? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. It is going to be amazing quality. So as much as, I loved in 2001 when I saw it at the Odeon Leicester Square and it was amazing. I'm expecting even more amazing things now. It's going to be pretty nifty. Where are you going to see it?
I'll be going to see it in Cambridge, April the 22nd. Of course, it's 8:15 in Cambridge at the Light Cinema. So that'll be my thing. I'll be doing the show, the Elvis radio show, Elvis in Cambridge, of course, and then a quick shufty round the corner and into the cinema with lots of hopefully other like-minded people.
And I think we should both go and collar people and get their opinion for next week's show, hadn't we?
Oh yeah, that'd be good. Yeah. So,
corner a couple of people if you can. And I don't know where I'm seeing it yet because I don't know what day it is. Yeah, because I work on a different time span too.
You never know what day it is.
I don't know where I am. Yeah, I have no idea when I'm watching it.
In your world, Elvis hasn't died yet, so
That's right. Yes. Reggie Bosen lied to me. I don't recognise him anymore. Now, so it's good. So thank you to Ollie at Trafalgar Releases for sending me all the stuff. I could read you the press release but you all know it, don't you? So that was good, and he's promised me something else a little bit nearer the time, as a little bit of a surprise. So watch this space, and in a couple of 3 weeks, we should be having an interview with somebody, all being well. Fingers crossed.
I told you Elvis was alive, and you would not believe me.
No.
That's the big one, isn't it? That's the big news.
Well, this is it. This is every
the first interview with the real Elvis in 45 years.
Yeah, he always goes to sunny Stourbridge. That's it. So what's your view? When did you first say that's the way it is?
That would be back in '77
on the telly.
On the television, yeah. It was after Elvis died. They put on a load of stuff, and I remember this. And I think they were on Saturday. It was like a Saturday morning thing on I can't remember what channel. Probably the BBC. I'm just guessing.
Say it was Auntie, I should imagine, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I remember seeing that, and the first thing that struck me when I saw it, even as a little bitty kid.
You're still a little bitty kid.
Thank you. was that outrageous silk shirt that he was wearing in rehearsals there, which was just like, and I thought, wow, who on earth is? I've never seen anybody wearing something like that before.
The whole film is a medley of amazing shirts and towels.
Yeah,
isn't it? Yeah, that is something that does stand out. But I think that's it. I think a lot of us will have first seen it then, because I never saw it at the cinema before then. I'm saving up for my first Betamax player, trying to be able to record it. Didn't, and I remember I taped it on a C120. So I've still got a box somewhere with it recorded off the telly, and there's probably me dad telling me to shut up and get out halfway through.
What was it? Was it Memorex, TDK?
Oh wait, I was cheap. It was probably Boots.
There's people listening to this and wonder what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah, so people of a certain age out there, you've played it back, haven't you? And it's a 120 and it goes, oh. Yeah, so I probably haven't heard.
Bit like those terrible bootlegs we used to buy on tape cassette at conventions. And it's a concert from 1975. Oh, brilliant. And you can't hear it.
Yeah, recorded from the car park. The beef burger seller had a blooming cassette player. Oh no. I think that's how we first saw it. And it was
I only really appreciated it in the 10 years after Celebration in 1987, because I was older. Of course, I was 10 years older, in my mid-teens, and they put all the movies on around about that time, or quite a lot of the movies on, and I appreciated that's the way it is more when I was like 17, 18 years old than I did probably when I was 7 years old.
Yeah, I think I was a big fan of the 50s. This was the thing that went, is he a bit of a crooner now? No, hang on a minute, I've got to patch it up to the rocker. So I probably appreciated a lot more of the 70s than I'd given into beforehand. But the film itself, okay, it's not the award winner that On Tour was. Mm-hmm. But the Oscar-winning director, Dennis Sanders.
Dennis Sanders,
so he's got a bit of a history there. Memorable parts of it. Well, I like the way it runs. I like the rehearsals and the live. What do you think of Elvis in the bits that they chose? Am I wrong? But he larks about too much.
Yeah, a little bit. He's sort of him and his friends sort of play up to the camera a little bit, don't they?
Yeah. So I think that was always my thing, that I wanted to see how they created a song. I wanted to see how they work out more than just than all that. So I always think that's the documentary that's never been made.
Well, they still have Elvis producing, don't we? We see Elvis the producer very evident in there when he's getting stuff done. Probably more so when he's got the backing singers with him.
Yeah, and I want more of that. I want to see when you tweak it, and when he's saying you never got that bit right, and those are the bits that I want to see. But Larking About's great. I mean, he does all the next step is sex. I when I had that version, because it was never released at the time, I'd cut that out of my cassette, and that was like, wow, I've got the rarest thing in the world here. But so has everybody else on the planet. But oh yeah, it's great, isn't it? But larking about splitting the pants, they've chose this. I wonder, did the Colonel lean on them a bit? Make it light and fluffy a little bit more than the gritty documentary it could have been.
I don't know. Maybe that was just what Elvis was like. Yeah, who knows? I think, to be honest with you, in a movie like this was not Colonel Parker's cup of tea whatsoever. I think he'd have had very little to do with it. I know he's technical advisor, but he's on all 31 of Elvis's movies, isn't he? But,
yeah, but I mean, all that scene where I do like the bits, the documentary bits of the people at RCA, the people at the International, and they're all gushing. Oh, this is all the stuff that the Colonel gave us. Oh, this is what the Colonel gave us. And all I hear that is, if the Colonel doesn't get mentioned 78 times, then he won't pay.
Here's one person that was not impressed with all that sort of stuff, was the maitre d'. I don't know what his name was, but he's a big fella. And he was really miserable because, this was not a normal Las Vegas crowd coming to see Elvis. Because, of course, people were just coming to see Elvis. They weren't interested in gambling. They weren't interested in smoking and drinking. They were just they just wanted to come and see Elvis as a concert, as we do. And it's a different type of crowd for him, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he wasn't very happy at all.
That's it. I like how you brought that, because you've been to Vegas, haven't you?
I've been to the Westgate Hotel, which was the International,
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a world I don't know. So all of those external shots that you see, how much of that is still around now?
Quite a lot. There's the main drag of Las Vegas, which is Fremont Street, which they show fleetingly in the original version. That's still there, but it's undercover these days.
Is that the Golden Nugget bit?
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's Fremont Street, and what they've done, they've preserved it and made it into more of a tourist. They're still working casinos, and still working sex shops around the corner, and still working bars and stuff like that, and all the lights and the glamour there. But it's more of a nostalgic look at Vegas these days, whereas you've got the brand new strip, which is the other end of the town, where you've got the MGM, where you've got the the Mirage and all these. Yeah, so
all the ones that Clooney robbed.
That's it, yeah. So the old Vegas is still there. It's just that they preserved it. You actually have to get on a bus to go down to Fremont Street these days. So it's still there. It's still there. I mean, I had a very good night in the Golden Nugget one night, till about 5 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, it's still worth a look.
The Golden Nugget was breakfast cereal in my day, right?
And there is actually a great big golden nugget in there. Now it's behind the case. Now I don't know whether it's plastic or whether it's actually a great big nugget of gold, but I was impressed anyway.
It's honeycomb, isn't it? It's a great big crunchy bar.
A few bourbons will impress me for anything, to be quite honest with you.
That is so true. That is so true.
Yeah. And of course, we had in the original, didn't we? We had the Las Vegas wedding at the Cupid Chapel.
Oh, yeah.
Where Robert and Nancy went to see Elvis as part of their honeymoon, which is great.
I don't know if are you in Anorak for Back to the Future?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Don't you just hear, I get married in the chapel, oh love. Right? Every time I see that bit.
Jennifer McFly at her best, isn't it? It's all good stuff.
Yeah, so it is. So the fans, before we get onto the music then, the inserts of the fans.
Oh, yeah.
Was it needed?
I suppose we're quite lucky to have two versions where we did get the fans, because they always drive me nuts, I have to say, because I crazy cat lady who taking a cat to Elvis's home to see Elvis, and
you leave Tinkerbell out of this. Tinkerbell's all right.
and stuff like this. It's like, they're the really ugly Elvis doll as well, sitting on the bed.
Yeah, but you know how much that's worth these days.
I'm sure someone's going to buy it and plonk it in a museum somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, Tinkerbell's been up to the house.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind them. But they are a little bit cringy and a bit embarrassing, aren't they?
It is, but isn't that? I think it's refreshing to see that they were doing that when he's alive, because that's still what they do, doesn't it? They don't interview me and you at a convention. they go up to this. So what was the other guy, the creepy guy? I'm going to write you a nasty little letter.
Oh, the guy with the glasses and the great big moustache.
Yeah, that they
if I don't like this movie, I'm going to write you a nasty letter. That's it. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. But that's the way it is. But the old dear with her mom.
Oh crikey! Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes a jingly jangly or something. That's too much information.
That's an image your daughter's never got out of her head.
Yeah. Apparently she's still in Arkham. The one I like in the fans.
Yeah.
Is they got that journalist.
The magazine editor, yes.
The magazine editor from Tiger Beat.
That's it.
Anne Moses. And she was at the 68 special as well. And I read an interview with her ages ago, and I couldn't find it today. But she wrote a book because she basically, in the 60s, had breakfast with the Monkees, tea with the Dave Clark Five, and
right, I didn't realise.
So she was interviewing everybody for this. But she was at 69 opening. She was at and I'd love to find out again because I remember reading it years ago. Anne Moses, yeah.
Got a question? Email Vince at talkingelvis.co.uk.
Yeah, so it's there. I mean, and of course we have was it Peter Aldersley of the fan club, of the English fan club, going all the way to see the filming and met Elvis and nicked his tandem while Elvis wasn't.
Yeah, can you ride tandem? Yeah.
And then they go off to that convention in Luxembourg, don't they?
Now the convention then has that changed much to an Elvis convention that you would go to?
Not a great deal, if we're totally honest. In the 80s, when we used to go to conventions, they were still exactly like that. In that one that we saw in 1970, wasn't it?
Sit down, watch the turn. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, and some guys singing Tiger Man. My goodness me, that was cringing. That was.
But you look at the audience; they're loving it, aren't they?
They're absolutely enraptured. They really are. It's like this is the best thing ever.
And the weird Buddy Holly lookalike, and but I just think this is sort of a little bit off topic, but have you still got the video of us in Denmark singing in the bar?
Oh yeah, of course I have. Yeah, that's going on. That's an after midnight sort of show.
And I think you have to send me that because I have a plan for that because we are so bad.
Yeah.
But some people are that bad and they think they're great. So I think we might have to do something creative with that. I'd forgotten all about that. It just came back to me then. What was the song?
You played a couple of Elvis songs in that bar that night. One was Way Down, wasn't it? I can't remember what the other one was. That's All Right, Mama. He played, didn't he?
Can't remember. Oh, yeah.
So he played a couple for us, and
he had a ball.
We kept his business running for that day anyway. So
we actually did. The tandem you were just talking about?
Yes. Where is that now?
Well, I know.
Oh, I bet you do. Come on.
Right. I don't know where it is now, but I know where it ended up. I've ridden that bike.
Have you really?
I have.
Oh, were you on the front or the back?
I was at the front. Karen was on the back. Karen, if you're out there, Karen, hello.
Oh, wow.
It was at an Ian Bailey. He had it, and I asked him recently what happened to it, and he sold it to put his kid through college, which was great. But Ian Bailey had it, and he had one of the Leicester collectors dues. He had it, and so amazing. To you couldn't ride it around. You just sat on it and had your photo taken.
So how had Ian acquired it? Had he got it from
the guy who won it must have sold. I don't know how many times it was sold before he got it, but he'd bought it off a friend of a pal of a mate of whatever.
That'd be fascinating to know where it is now.
Yeah, so he sold it. So it's a wonder Henrik hasn't got, isn't it?
I was just thinking that actually that'd be a great addition to his museum. So if you're out there, this red tandem that Elvis rode around the lot, the MGM lot in California, in Hollywood, and if you've got it and you we'd love to know all about it.
Yes, tell us more. And do you know the thing about the scene where he's riding it, and that's the way it is, that he's singing "Crying Time," joking. The music's over it, isn't it? As he rides it around, the music's over, and it's Crying Time. And I wish he'd done a proper straight version of that because that was a larking about one again. But there you go. So the convention. Todd's there again. That's good.
Yes, yeah, with Tony Prince, yeah.
Tony Prince, and they're riding around the bike doing what they do. Yeah, but I was really chuffed to get it. And I think within the film, there's a lot of people that you know probably when I first watched it, I didn't know, but you know your Memphis Mafia now, so you're going, oh look, and I'd forgotten that Felton Jarvis is there as well.
Yeah, in the midst of rehearsals, isn't he?
Yeah, and you just go, oh, where's the rest of this?
Yeah,
because this is the documentary I want. But then
So we got Felton Jarvis, haven't we, with the rehearsing with the Imperials and who else? Imperials and the Stamps Quartet. No,
the girlies.
Yeah.
Oh, I lost my marbles.
Sweet Inspirations.
That's the chappie, yeah.
Yeah.
Just looking at my
notes here.
Yeah, when he you know, that's the lovely line, isn't it? When he's going to replace you with the Supremes tomorrow with Mahalia Jackson singing lead. You know.
Here's the thing, just an aside from that. What's the point of Millie Kirkham? What does she actually contribute to those backing singers? I don't know. Maybe there's something between her and Elvis at the time. I don't know.
Yeah,
but,
I
was just thinking, what's the point? And the same with Kathy Westmoreland in later years as well. I don't get that all at all. But there you go.
Do you remember when we saw? Did you? No, you weren't there. When we went to London and met her.
No, I didn't see her. No.
Oh, I've got to. I have to dig that out. We had she did a talkie, an interview thing, and we had a cassette player. And we recorded a really rough. I mean, you couldn't play it on here; it was that old and rough. Yeah. But all I remember is, "Will you sing for me, Kathy?" That was.
Yeah, well, I don't get Millie Kirkham, but there you go. But yeah, it was good to see Felton Jarvis.
Then when you get into the concert itself.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I always have a sort of tinge of excitement when Elvis walks out on stage. Yeah. The anticipation and just seeing his reactions to the crowd and the crowd's reaction to him and all that sort of stuff. I'm just saying.
Yeah, do you like the nervous Elvis before he gets on? I think that really adds to it, doesn't it? Yeah, when he's doing the pulse salad, isn't
it? No, that's very, very natural. It's good to see something like that, isn't it? Yeah. Because that's something you don't normally see. Normally it's like, yes, finish rehearsals, yes, you show him going into the building and then bang, they're on stage, but you didn't see that type of thing, and there was an hour between then and the performance coming up, wasn't there? So he's really sort of waiting to go on. Then he can't wait. He can't wait to go, can he?
He's like a coiled spring, isn't he?
No, absolutely.
But he's gone. Yeah, that's great. So looking at the songs, what gets me is when it's Love Me Tender, and it's just a license to snog. and I just go, well, fair enough. Good, they're chucking themselves at him, basically, aren't they? But every ETA is going, it's what he did. I better do that then.
It's all right for Elvis to do it and people like that, but it's like when we go and do it, oh no, we get booted out, don't we?
Yeah, that's it. I'll give you the scarf if I can have a snog. Oh no, that's wrong. Right. I've got to ask you a question. I was watching it and I was going to look it up, but I thought you'll know anyway because you're a bit of a World Cup Willie and know your sports. One chap refers to Elvis as the Willie Mays of country music.
Yeah.
Who's Willie Mays?
An amazing baseball player back in the day, very, very famous. I think.
How far back in the day are we?
We're talking
Babe
40s.
Ruth stuff.
Yeah, we're talking 40s, 50s, I think.
All right, I knew you'd know.
And I'm pretty sure he played for the Yankees, the New York Yankees, but I'd have to look that up. But yes, he was a baseball player, and very good one as well. Hall of Famer.
All right, so you'd have him on your baseball cards, and he'd be worth a fortune.
Absolutely. If you had
your bubblegum cards, yeah.
Indeed, yeah. If you had one of those, then you could get a tiny profit out of it.
Oh, lovely. I wondered who he was.
There you go.
I've never got round to looking it up. It just came up to me then.
I used to have a Willie Mays baseball shirt back in the day.
Now, the one thing I saw on Facebook not long back, is Elvis did it first, Elvis did it first, Elvis did it first. And I've seen all these things. And watching this, he does the robot dance, doesn't he?
Does he?
He does the robot dance. And I say that's long before anybody else. And that's another one I'm going to have to look up at some point. He does a bit of a robot dance, and I'm thinking, yeah, he does, doesn't he?
No.
He does.
Does he really?
He does, honest.
I watched both movies this week for researching this, and I don't remember or don't recall
in the first one. I can't remember if it's in the second one, but he does the robot thing. Yeah, I'm going to find out and tell you exactly how many minutes in.
Yes, I'm going to go and have a look at that.
Yeah, I can't remember what song it is. So walking into the crowd.
Oh man,
just play the hell out of it, you know.
Yeah. That's just like I don't know. It didn't plan that. That was spontaneous, I think.
There must have been a lot of people going, this is not good. Isn't it right that there was a rumor, or have I dreamt it, that he'd had a death threat that day, and this was a sort of in your face, mate, kind of nobody tells me what to do.
I don't know about that particular day. I have heard the rumors of the death threats. I can't remember. He was on stage, so I don't know whether it was this tour or not. I don't know.
But I've got a vague memory of that. But I've got
maybe we should research it properly.
Yeah, but that involves putting me drink down.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
This is where we ask you, the listener, to fill in the blanks.
Indeed, if you do, yeah, you can get us on vince@talkingelvis.co.uk and ian@talkingelvis.co.uk.
Oh, very good. Did that without a script.
Yeah.
Jumpsuits in the show. Some of the best, isn't there?
He looks just amazing, doesn't he?
Yeah, you know,
this looks incredible.
So I'm hoping that come June, when I'm up to Graceland, I wonder how many of these are on show. But we had quite a few of these things at the O2, didn't we?
We did. We had the jumpsuits. We definitely had one from 1970, didn't we?
Yeah.
With the tassels on it and the sort of the chains across the chest. We definitely had those. Which was just amazing to see. And we touched on this when we was with Henrik in Denmark, is that Elvis is perceived as a jumpsuit fat bloke, and he's not at all, is he?
No.
These suits just look incredible and slim, and and they're not been altered, and oh.
Well, is that right? Because when you go to some museums, they've put the clothing on a bust, and then there's a dirty great big bulldog clip at the back to bring it in. But this is just. It is what it is. Yeah. It's filled as was. Yep.
And that's
so yeah, and that is medically. Oh yeah. I mean, I always look at these mannequins and you think he'd have towered above you. What a presence! Those massive feet standing over you.
Yeah.
And you just go, hello.
Can you imagine what that would have been like? But
I really can't. I always think from when I was a kid and people knew at school I was a fan, and when he died, that was it. They go, did you ever see him? No. Bet you'd wet yourself if you did, wouldn't you? And it was like, look, thanks, kids.
Yeah, that's you do a lot of silly things in life, don't you? But you might have one or two regrets here and there. But that's one regret I do have, is never seeing Elvis live. But there you go.
Any regrets in this film?
The original, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
I'm not so keen on the fans as you are.
Yeah.
But the songs are great. When you see You've Lost That Loving Feeling, you get a sense of a proper movie. The way the camera moves out and pans out and all this sort of stuff. You get the sense of a proper movie on there. You hear an amazing version of Bridge Over Troubled Water and wonder if Elvis ever did it to that standard again.
Yeah.
So stuff like that, and is that the best performance of Suspicious Minds ever?
I was going to ask you about it, because this is what I've got written down next. Suspicious Minds. I listen to it and you just go, wow.
You really do.
But I want more long shots. They've got all the film is all about the eyes, isn't it? It's all about Elvis looking at the band, and he's giving them the nod when they do everything. But I would love to see more long shots, because he's leaping around to Suspicious Minds, and I'm just thinking I want the full length one, and that I've never thought that before. But on this viewing, I want more, like it's all tucked into face and shoulder. Yeah. But he's so active I want the long shots because
you want the whole stage
Yeah.
on show, yeah, with all the band and all the everybody, yeah.
Yeah, because I think when I go and see a band now, and they've got, and even when we went to see the RPO, they have the screen up of the close up of the singer.
Yeah.
But I like to see a band, and I make my own mind up what I'm looking at, and I love to see the whole of the action, and you get everything. But the close-ups work really well on something like when you see his feet.
Mm-hmm.
And he just steps over towards the camera.
That's very good.
But I do think I'd love, my big regret is I would love a re-edited Suspicious Minds video because the audio is perfect.
Yeah, it's I don't think we probably saw it was one as good as that in on tour or even in a lower. I think that was just spectacular.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Ford along with Jamie Kay from the Jungle Room Podcast, and you're listening to Vince Wright and Ian Gray on the Talking Elvis Podcast. Thank you very much.
What about Pokes That Out? Any of that with all the
absolutely love that.
2, 3, 4. It's I was trying to think of what's the best way to describe it because I look, I don't really know what the ultimate version of that is, and I like I learned that in the army bit, but it's really loosey goosey, isn't it? It's really just, I don't know if that's the right phrase, but it is just so. It's like the most chilled version, isn't it?
Because we've heard versions. Yeah, we heard versions later on in the 70s, didn't we? That he really ran through them, didn't he?
Yeah.
So this was a little bit more, sedate. But
powerful enough.
It's powerful, and his movement is amazing.
It is that. It's that swamp rock. What's he called? Tony Joe White who wrote it, isn't it? It really is that. Down in the swamps, and we're all a bit, that way. I think sometimes he rushed it, didn't he? So this is
in later years. He certainly did, yeah.
Yeah, but then that was the greatest hits to us, isn't it? You see how many you can get in a minute. And I love the curtain coming down at the end. I just think
that's pretty good. I mean, I do love I do love rewatching as well the drum playing of Ronnie Tutt.
Yeah,
because you just see how manic he was. He was like Animal from the Muppets, wasn't he?
It really is. That had to be based on him. But that's interesting because when we saw him with the RPO, it's one of those times that I think, you forget he's getting on a bit now. He's not what he was. Yeah. It's lovely to see him again, but you just think, you're not doing what you did.
Yeah, and there's another thing. Another member of the band, and this is extremely loosely described. Charlie Hodge, what's he doing there apart from giving Elvis water? His guitar wasn't even plugged in.
Oh. But they're all there, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're all there. Right? That bit when he starts chucking water over them, it's more just larking about. I'm surprised nobody got electrocuted, but that's me health and safety head again, isn't it?
Yeah. But all in all, the original one is good. It is a movie of its time, and apart from if you went to those concerts or you saw Elvis in concert in America, the rest of the world hadn't seen Elvis in that guise before, not full show, full band, full orchestra, and all this sort of stuff. And it was a movie of its time, including the fans, and that sort of made the personal touch, especially for the fans in Europe, for example.
Yeah, I think that's great.
It brought it home close to them because they knew Todd Slaughter, they knew Tony Prince. Some of them probably went to Luxembourg and did that. I don't know. Do they still have those conventions in Luxembourg? Because I'd like to go back to one. I would.
Well, I think that's the thing. Get onto that.
To find out, yeah.
We'll be going.
Because Luxembourg's a beautiful, beautiful place. You really, it's well worth going. It's very medieval and but also modern as well. It's very worth going. So that'd be quite nice to go to the old Rock Haller and see if there's a an Elvis convention in town.
And if there isn't, we'll put one on. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Indeed. And Radio Luxembourg these days does not do any English-speaking programming because I've asked them.
Don't they? Doesn't Todd do one?
No, he does Radio Caroline.
Oh, yes.
Yes, but Radio Luxembourg, although it is still going, they don't do any more English programming because I asked them for a job.
right.
And they told me to bugger off in the best of Luxembourgish.
The night Elvis died, I was there with Radio Luxembourg. That was Tony Prince. That was a very special night. So yes, it's always a bit of a soft spot for that. What's your thoughts for the new movie then?
The new movie, well, okay, well,
say new 2001, yeah.
well, yeah, it really should be called That's the Way It Is too, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Or That's the Way It Is, the sequel, or something like that.
Well, that's the way it was.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, that's they actually put that at the end of this movie, don't they?
Yeah,
Elvis, that's the way it was. Yeah.
That's the thing I like. Have you watched the trailer to the original?
Yeah.
When he goes, see it, share it, live it, love it. The guy who started it all. Yeah.
Brilliant. Super.
I love all that.
Yeah, very, very good. And it's like I like the story about, is it Rick Schmidlin who was
he's the restoration. That's
the restoration man. It's him talking about it, and they sent people down to some sort of mines, some storage mines, 2 miles beneath Kansas City.
It's a Kansas salt mine, isn't it? And you go, what's in this can?
Yeah.
And this is where we've got a fella coming on the show soon from the Get On Tour reissued and all the lost footage. So we're going to have a chat with a guy about that in a few weeks as well. And that's this same salt mine. I mean, there's a million of us here willing to go down and catalogue what's in there, isn't it? We don't need paying.
No, we'll go down for free and have a look. Yeah, we'll just sit there in front of reels and reels and reels. It just must be amazing, mustn't it, to do something like that?
Yeah, I'd have a very big bag with me.
Indeed, yes, indeed. Well, we've lost the fans on this one, haven't we? On the remake.
So the
talking heads have gone.
The talking heads, yeah. And you may ask yourself,
only once in a lifetime.
This is what I like. I like all sorts of music, and it just all comes into my head. So I do apologise, but there you go. But this is the thing for the non-believer, for the non-bona fide Elvis fan. These should be something that you can say, but it's very much the greatest hits, isn't it? Because they've taken some of the greater songs out.
Yep. But they've also added some of the songs in as well, because you had In the Ghetto, which wasn't in the original.
Yeah.
You've had The Wonder of You, which wasn't in there. So they've taken it out. Just Can't Help Believing in Sweet Caroline.
But that's the thing, is we want the ultimate show.
Yeah, we want the full because it was filmed over 6 different shows, wasn't it? They say.
Yeah.
So we want the whole thing, don't they? But they've gone. They've like I said, they've replaced some of the songs and put, but there's a lot of the R50 songs, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's more 50 songs in this version, this new version, than there was in the original version.
Yes, yeah. And that's a shame, but it is what it is again. But we will be there. We will be screaming and yelling at the screen. I hope it's a full house. I would say go and see it. If you haven't bought the DVD, then you can pick that up for tuppence. It's the double edition, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got that version. I've also got the special box set version with the original film stills in as well. The film posters.
Is that the video?
No, it's I have got the video somewhere, but I've got they brought out a special edition in.
Yeah, you got that one as well
with the DVD as well. Yeah, so yeah.
And we've got this new FTD super duper book coming out. So
when's that coming out? That must be coming out sort of round about the April time.
Yeah, it's coming out to tie in with it. So it's a watch this space on that.
So you get a lot more Elvis one-to-one in this new version. Yeah. They've tidied it up. Obviously, it looks better as well.
Oh yeah, the digital transfer is amazing on this.
Yeah, and we've got more songs. We've got more rehearsals and more songs. So from that point of view, I think if people of today or people of 2001 who weren't fans saw the Crazy Cat Ladies, if they saw the goings on in Luxembourg, they probably would have been turned off.
Yeah.
By this. So this is why they've lost all that footage and just put Elvis in, because Elvis sells himself. I think that's what they were banking on back in 2001.
I think so, but this is important now that we get this one's out, that it makes them think what we're going to do for On Tour, because You know, that's just the dream, isn't it?
It is. I know. They're releasing the re-releasing this to celebrate 50 years, aren't they? 50 years of That's the Way It Is, the original. But it's a little bit sad, isn't it? I mean, we just think that there's an infinite pot of money to carry on doing these projects, but there's obviously not. But it's a little bit sad that they're probably just going to show the 2001 version, where we could have had That's the Way It Is 3.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know.
But you know, but what is it we've got? What's he called? Who's the director who did all the Lord of the Rings?
Oh,
Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson, yeah.
Yeah, isn't he doing the Beatles' Let It Be?
He is, yes.
Yeah, and they're restoring that. Did you see the what was that one about World War One, where they had they took all the old footage and they colorized it and they synced it and they got it the right speed and they added sound.
Was this the 1917 movie?
No. It was a documentary, not an active
right,
one.
okay.
And they took all the original footage. And you know, when if you see Charlie Chaplin, it's always a little bit at the wrong speed. If you see some old footage of a bus from 1917, it's always a little bit jerky and fast. Well, they took all this footage for the war from the Imperial War Museum and made this amazing program, which I've forgotten the name. It was shown a couple of Christmases ago. And it's the technology that was made for that they're doing the Beatles one. So the Beatles Let It Be was very grainy.
Yes.
And they're going to do this, but that's going with top-notch director, big budget. This is that Elvis's second fiddle again, isn't it?
Well, you say that, but how many of these restoration things have they done with the Beatles movies and catalogues? They've barely touched the surface, haven't they? So, you know, it's whereas we expect everything. We expect, and we mean everything. We know we've got all this live footage, you know, from not just from 70, but from later on years when they did on tour and all this sort of thing. Whereas the Beatles, they tend to only do these things every sort of 5 or 10 years, don't they? Whereas Elvis, we want something new every couple of years.
Every Wednesday, don't we? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not so much Elvis playing second fiddle. I think they're running out of stuff to do. You know, I know, you know, just mentioned the extra concert footage we've got, but they're pretty much flogging it to death, aren't they?
Yeah.
So just listen. You've got a very good, complete, almost complete collection there. What more do you want?
Yeah, we just want everything. Yeah,
and you listeners can tell us if you think we've missed anything out on this. If you've got anything relevant or non-relevant to say to add to our ramblings, then please do get in touch. That'd be quite good because there must be other stuff out there, other ideas, huh?
Yeah, no, I think that's really good. So we've had quite a chat on that one. I've enjoyed it. I hope the listener has. It's
been very good actually watching both of the movies as well. Because I made sure I watched both of them, in the last week or so, and it's actually very entertaining. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. It has to be said. And
I think we'll do more of these and other themes along that. So yeah, stick your 10 pence in. Anything else? We don't know what we're doing next week because we're not that organised.
No, but we've got one or two ideas in the fire, so just watch this space.
Right, that was interesting. Are we on the radio this week?
Yes, we are on the radio this week. www.camfm.co.uk, 6 o'clock UK time. That will be about 1 in the afternoon if you're listening in the east coast of America and Kentucky. It'll be about 10 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock in the morning if you're listening to us in Alaska. I know some people do, but you could also go to that web address, camfm.co.uk, and listen to the last 5 shows, in fact, for the next month. How good is that?
I think that's excellent. Always a good sing-along, and I think we'll be playing a few songs from That's the Way It Is in between now and the movie release.
We will indeed, yeah. It's because we're too tight to pay for the musical rights on this particular podcast, but Cam FM very, very, very conveniently and very politely pays for all our costs on that show. So well done to them, and hopefully my check will be in the post.
That's it. Or you can always just go out and buy everything yourself and then play it at home.
There you go. Be a radio DJ in your own home.
Lovely jubbly. Get onto Spotify. Thank you very much for listening. We will be back next week with a theme that we'll plan down the pub, which we haven't planned yet, but I'm sure it will be interesting. Thank you very much, everybody.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much, and goodbye for now.
Bye for now, everyone.
Hey, everybody, it's Mike Ford along with Jamie Kay from the Jungle Room Podcast, and you're listening to Vince Wright and Ian Gray on the Talking Elvis Podcast. Thank you. Thank you very much.